this idea of vesting and ending or perpetuity period of a trust actually even derive from, because as a really obvious and key point of reference, any company in Australia can last indefinitely. There's no such thing, there's no idea, there's no concept of this ending period for an entity, which is in many respects analogous to a trust being a company. So why is it that trusts are special? Why is it that trusts have 5 different answers as to where the concept of vesting actually came from? The one I enjoy the most, and the one I think that probably resonates most closely to what is possibly the truth, is that historically trusts, or as they were known in early English law, uses, USES, uses or trusts in their early form, could last forever. So they were exactly the same as a modern day company. There was no ending date. They were a structure that could last in perpetuity. The argument was that there were forms of death duties back in early English law. What would happen is that a lot of the richer families would arrange for an initial transfer of asset into a trust on death. Yes, there would be tax payable on that initial transfer, the effective death duty, but once the asset then sat inside the trust, it was effectively protected forever. From a tax perspective, it was sheltered because there would be no further transfer of the asset on death, and therefore no further revenue to the monarchy. But the allegation is that King Henry VIII took them about 200 or 300 years to work this out, but eventually worked out that the revenue was drying up, and the reason it was drying up was because all of the wealthy families were putting their assets into trust and then effectively just skipping that tax, making it an elective tax moving forward. Solution, as is often the case in these structure-related areas, was to create the revenue outcome. They needed to find a way to put a lifetime limit or an overall limit on the length of the trust. Hence, you'll see in most or many trust instruments, particularly earlier trust instruments, is this idea, if you do read the deed, that you'll see reference to, King Henry VIII or whoever it might be, their life in being as at the date of the establishment of the trust, plus invariably a period of 21 years.